Hello and welcome to the House of Crypto. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Ethereum, which hit an all-time high yesterday of $1,705, to see whether that upside momentum can continue or whether this retrace is going to turn into something more serious. We're going to take a look at some important Ethereum news, as well as do some crucial chart analysis to see what's going to happen in the coming hours and what we can expect to happen in the coming weeks. Guys, if you're new to the House of Crypto, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the way in to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in the crypto markets. It's over on Business Insider. Ethereum catapults to new all-time high past $1,600 as investors pile in ahead of next week's launch for CME futures. Guys, we've been talking about this for a while. This is obviously big news. CME futures allows bigger investors to get involved in something. It is becoming more and more regulated, which in the past cryptocurrency was never particularly well regulated, and that was one of the biggest sort of barriers or one of the biggest warning things that people were scared of. So this is huge news, guys. Let's jump into the story. So Ethereum shot past $1,600 to all the way up to $1,700. Currently sitting around $1,614. The digital asset hit a record high of $1,698, meanwhile Bitcoin rose to 3% of 37,000. See, I think 1690 is actually a bit low. Maybe it was over there on the Bybit exchange. It actually went up to 1700. Okay, so another thing that sparked recent news is this Reddit war against the Wall Street players, guys. You know what's happened over on that front is that a centralized finance has been able to kind of play the system, and it's kind of like it's become clear now to many normal people what the system has been for many years, and how the average person's actually been getting screwed. Now, decentralized finance, which Ethereum is basically the daddy of, would basically stop things like this being able to happen. People are getting more and more understanding about how decentralized finance works after they've perhaps been screwed over in this recent situation. Obviously, you've seen a lot of money coming into things like Dogecoin and stuff, mainly because of hype. But off the back of Dogecoin, there's a lot of hype then going to be coming into Bitcoin and Ethereum, which hasn't necessarily been around since the 2017 spike in the prices. Carrying on with the story then, Ethereum's upward trajectory may be representative of the fortunes of the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. So what does that mean, guys? Money's been flowing in from all sorts of different areas, as I just mentioned. And, obviously Ethereum being the second biggest player in the game after Bitcoin, it's obviously going to see a great deal of that coming in. And as I sort of mentioned yesterday in my Litecoin video, Bitcoin is obviously the biggest and the most decentralized, most well heard of, but because it's so expensive, guys, lots of people kind of put off by that price tag. You and I both know that we can buy parts of it, but actually to go and look at it and potentially want to buy a $37,000 coin is quite sort of a scary prospect for many people. So actually, things like Litecoin down at $150 and things like Ethereum up at $1,700 are actually significantly more affordable. People come into this space and are much happier to get hold of like a whole coin or whatever. So that makes it much more attractive compared to Bitcoin. Also, we're aware that Ethereum has only just gone through an all-time high, but Bitcoin has surged way past it. So people feel like, maybe they missed out on Bitcoin and they want to make their money somewhere else. Ethereum is probably the second best option, if not, I believe, the best option. I'm sure you probably do as well. But actually, many people are looking at Ethereum as a second option to Bitcoin because of maybe missing out, or they feel they've missed out on the Bitcoin burst. So here we are. Reckons CTO of Bitfinex reckons it's going to go to around $1,920 ahead of the CME launch, which I believe is on the 8th of February. So just 3 days away, I believe. So we'll have a look in the charts shortly, and we'll look at this $1,920 to see whether that whether we believe that's accurate or whether we can see maybe a bit more, perhaps a bit less. Okay. So another thing I want to jump into, guys, is coming over to Google Trends. As you can see, last time I think I checked out this chart, we were all the way down here, and we've now climbed. We're actually up on the all-time. It's on the United States, up in the all-time high area for searches around mid-January, having a little bit of a fall. That's possibly after we saw both Bitcoin and Ethereum rise really, really quickly, and then there was like that sort of stagnation period for a while as we went sideways through that triangle pattern, which is represented here. But again, we've just surged through this. I believe there's probably a bit of a time lag in this. We've surged through an all-time high. This is only going to continue to pick up, guys. And if we can continue this momentum, new people coming into the market, new people learning about Ethereum, then it's going to be a really exciting space to be, not only institutional buyers, but individuals getting involved as well. Anyway, without further ado, guys, let's jump on into the charts. Okay, guys, so as we saw, we came bursting out of this ascending triangle a couple of days ago. As we talked about, we hit up here, and we were saying that it was either going to break out here, or we were going to push down to the downside and probably have a break to the downside. Fortunately for all Ethereum holders, it came up and it broke to the upside. And as you see, it within 4 hours, we went from this price down here, 14.31, all the way up to $1,500. It's a really big sort of surge there, sort of a bit of a back trace just to confirm, and then pushed all the way up. Now you see this pink line, which we've been tracing out of this channel for the last few weeks as well, is now actually acting as quite a good indicator of what's happening. So we've seen this line along here provide a good bit of resistance before flipping and turning that into support. We saw yesterday this huge surge down to the downside, was met by really good buying pressure that pushed it to the upside. Again, we've taken this other dip yesterday evening and then pushing back up to the upside again. Now, something that might look slightly concerning is we might have some sort of a double top forming here with a slightly lower high here, which is obviously a very bearish thing, although as you can see, we seem to have bounced nicely off of this red 50 EMA. This is over on the 1 hour, by the way. However, again, sort of seeing some more downward pressure. It seems to be struggling to get through the 20 EMA. I think what's realistically going to happen is if it can hold above this 50 or below that, this is a significant line of support, this pink line, then we're going to see a continued bounce to the upside. And there's something else I want to show, which is playing out here. So also, we love our triangle patterns. And let's have a quick look at what this one looks like. So what you can see here, guys, is an ascending triangle pattern. So we've hit up here, we've hit a high, and then it's come down and hit a low here. But notice we then come and put a higher low in and a lower low. This shows that the volume is increasing, and eventually we're going to have to make a decision. Now this can break to both sides, so let's jump over to the diagram here. As you can see, we've come up to the upside, we've taken the hit, and we've dropped all the way back down, and up, lower high, and bounced along. Now, here it shows it breaking to the upside and how it will work, as and when it does break to the upside. As I said, it can also play out, and it can drop to the downside. However, the trend is your friend until the end, guys. We're seeing a lot of upside push at the moment. I'm not saying it's not going to come down. It couldn't come down, because it could, okay? But it is showing a good deal of upside buying pressure. A lot of people have been getting a bit of FOMO. The CMA futures is just around the corner. A lot of people buying in, and because yesterday we were looking at $1,700 Ethereum, we're now looking back at a $1,600 Ethereum, and again, it's looking arguably a bit cheap compared to what it was yesterday. So there's good buying pressure coming in here, good buying pressure coming in here. We need to be able to maintain this yellow line for this pattern to play out, which actually, because it's the hour-long chart, I can expect something to happen within the next 5 or 6 hours. If this doesn't play out and it breaks the downside, then maybe we'll continue to find some support here at the pink. However, the way these patterns work is that we tend to have to take minimum size wins and losses from here. So if it breaks the upside, depending on where it breaks from, it doesn't tend to break from the end, it tends to break about here, then we're looking down the barrel of, what's that there, $1,803. And if it was to break to the downside, then we're looking at 1467. But remember, guys, we're still playing out of the pattern from this huge green ascending triangle here, which if we go back here to where it kind of all began, you could possibly go back a bit further than that, depending on how generous you're feeling, whether you come all the way back here. But if we stick that there, guys, we've still, this will also bring us all the way up to, where are we? In fact, these bring us pretty much to very similar process, guys. Okay, if we take this from here, then this will come closer to the prediction that we just saw over on the news channel of around around $1,900. Okay, in fact, this is going to come, there you are, $2,000. I think $2,000 is pretty much what we're all expecting in the coming weeks. Potentially, down the line, $3,000. It's not unheard of, is unheard of, but is not out of the question. And the reason I think that is jumping over to the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. We've been tracking this pattern, or this huge triangulation pattern is on the weekly chart. Guys, this is only like 4 years worth of sort of data here showing. Now what happens again in these kind of channels is that we break, and if we break to the upside in this, the Ethereum dominance, we're going to come all the way up to Ethereum being worth 20% of one Bitcoin. So what does that mean? At current prices, Ethereum or Bitcoin, pushing towards $40,000. It's like an $8,000 Ethereum, which, I don't think is beyond the realms of possibility before the end of this bull cycle sometime in the summer. Guys, if you agree with that, then please put a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed today's content, then please hit the like button. It really helps support me, and subscribe, guys, to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening out there in the markets. Guys, thanks very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you, and bye-bye.